So ADA as it stands is retesting the 200 DMA, and I mentioned in the previous update that the market is still undecided on where we're heading next. Now, for us to be bullish, what we need is for an impulsive structure to form, but as it stands, it looks like we had a correction that formed instead, and so it's possible that could be slightly bearish, but it is too early to say whether or not we are bullish or bearish, but I can only go off what's taken place so far. And so if I drop down to the hourly chart, what you can see is we had a three-wave move that formed. So if I draw this in, we had a WXY structure. And so what I do very quickly is check to see if the Y wave ended up tapping into its typical range between 1 to 1.236 of the W wave. So here the X wave ended up reaching 24.41 cents. And so yeah, here you can see that the Y wave ended up tapping into its typical range between 1 to 1.236. That was then followed by a rejection, where it looks like we could potentially be slightly bullish in the short term, given that there is potential for a bigger three-wave move to form. And so what I'll be looking at for in the short term is for a WXY structure to play out, right? And this can only form if this X wave retraces anywhere between 50 to 80.2% of the W wave. So if I bring in the Fib tool and bring this up to the local top, so that region sits between 24.27 cents to 24.91 cents. So for as long as ADA continues to hold this region, then we can remain bullish and we'll see the price of ADA breach above the local top. And so assuming that this structure is forming, what I'll do is I'll set out the Y wave target. So this range is anywhere between 26.16 cents to 26.58 cents. So this is the best case scenario that could take place over the next couple of days or so, if it just happens that we are bullish. Now, if it just happens that we exceed this region and go even lower, that then confirms that we are bearish and we could see a bigger WXY structure form, which is also something I talked about in the previous update. Right, so if I draw this in, so it's possible that this structure could be forming. So if I bring in the Fib tool and bring this to 25.76 cents, and so what we can see is ADA potentially reach anywhere between 22.5 cents to 23 cents. So this zone here, which also aligns with this bigger zone that I also set out previously. And if this WXY structure is forming, this Y wave could then potentially be made up of an internal 5-wave structure. And reason being is because within this move here, it does look to be impulsive. Right, so if I drop down to the 15-minute chart, it looks like we had a 5-wave structure that formed, with this being a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right, so this 5-wave structure could form part of a bigger wave 1. And this could be a correction to form the wave 2. And we could see a wave 3, 4, and 5 form this Y wave. Alternatively, if this 5-wave structure isn't playing out right now, instead what could be forming is a deeper WXY structure, like so. And the only way of knowing if you have a WXY structure forming or a 5-wave structure is if within this drop to the downside, if it just happens that it plays out, if that move retraces towards the 1.6 minute level, that then confirms that we have a 5-wave structure as opposed to a WXY structure. Right, so if I go back to the hourly chart and draw this in, just so it's not confusing. So for the sake of the video, assume that we topped off at 25.25 cents to form the wave 2. If on this drop to the downside, we retrace towards the 1.6 minute level, that then confirm that we have a 5-wave structure that's forming as opposed to a WXY structure to then complete this Y wave. And so, yeah, This range is going to be key in determining if whether or not we are bullish or bearish. If we hold this region, then in the short term, we could be bullish and we could see the price of ADA tap into this range here. If we lose this range, then that will then confirm that we're bearish and we could see the price of ADA tap into this range. And yeah, that's something I'm going to be looking at for in the days and weeks to come, and I will keep you guys updated.